Hello, and welcome to Nubian Kingz. I am your host, the intellectual Ahmenu Sage. And tonight, in this continued episode of the tablets, we're going to be talking about a few things to do with the elemental subjects, to do with the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon, and the stars. So the first thing I would like to do is discuss the moon. As you know, for centuries, people have worshipped the moon, people have gazed at the moon, in all its wonder and glory and splendor, even though it has quite a dark side to the moon, mechanical in all its ways and in its structure, with multiple objectives in mind for its usage. So yeah, the moon. Now, I don't know if you've looked at the moon closely, but if you have looked at the moon closely, you will notice, well, you should notice this anyway, to be honest, because it's right there in your face. Obviously you've seen a crescent moon or half moon, a full moon. But why does the moon turn to a crescent moon? Why does it turn to a half moon? This is something that the government has been covering up for so long with lies, and when people were brainwashed and under a spell, they never really questioned it back then. But now it's being questioned by certain people that are awakened and that are realizing that there's more to the moon than meets the eye. And the sun, for that matter. Now, as you can see, the moon turns into a crescent moon and turns into a half moon during certain nights, and even during certain times of the day in recent affairs. But my conclusion is, well, we was taught in school that it's the sun that covers the moon. The sun covers the moon, and that's why it turns to a half moon. But that doesn't even make sense, because if the sun covers the moon, for one, the sun must be switched off or something. Must be able to switch off, because how can something that bright cover the moon? And you not be able to see the sun? You should be able to see the sun blazing in all its glory. And then they try to go ahead and then teach us that it's the shadow of the sun cast on the moon. Now, I'm no genius or nothing, but isn't the moon a light? The moon is light itself. A ball of magnetic light. And so it can't be a shadow that's being cast on the moon, because there's no shadows dark enough to block out the light from a full moon. Now, when it turns to a crescent moon and a half moon, there is something covering the moon, something that covers the moon, or maybe even opens up on the moon, in the moon, to reveal half of it missing, or crescent of it missing. Something covers the moon, and that is why you have a crescent moon or a half moon. Now my theory is that it's another planet. It's either another planet, a very dark planet that covers the moon, or a very large ship that covers the moon, or even a cover that's on the actual moon itself that covers the part of the moon, or it opens up to that shape and reveals the inside, which makes the moon formless, the crescent shape. There's something covering the moon that's making the moon take that shape and form. And for the longest time, I've been wondering what it is and why it is the moon takes that form. And those are some of the theories that I've come up with. So yeah, something is definitely covering the moon. And if you have any theories or philosophies into what is actually covering the moon that makes actual sense, please don't write in the comments if you're gonna just post nonsense or stuff that they teach you in the schools when you're being brainwashed. Tell me your intellectual comments and theories and philosophies as to why the moon is taking that shape. Because I'll be interested to know what some of your thoughts are. So, yeah. Something is covering the moon, and that's why it's taking that shape. Now, I wanted to talk about the moon itself. As you know, for the longest time, the moon has been associated with a feminine energy, as a feminine energy, as the female counterpart to the sun. And I believe that this is true in some way. And I'm going to teach you a technique that I've learned and mastered, and learned to apply this in many different forms. Some of the forms I can teach you now, some of them I'm not allowed to teach you because it's simply forbidden knowledge. And at this current time, I'm not in a position where I'm able to teach you some of the information I have regards to the moon, or the sun for that matter. I will teach you a lot, as much as I can. Now, the moon is a female energy. It carries with it all the aspects of femininity. For instance, does a woman not blossom and come out of her shell and shine when you compliment her? When you compliment a woman, does she not show her beauty proudly? You say that if you got a girl and you say, "Oh, you look beautiful tonight, darling," she's going to be strutting her stuff and she's going to be very confident in herself. And you know, her attitude might even change a little bit. She might perk up and come out of hiding and show herself to the world and to everyone if you start giving her enough compliments. The moon is very similar in that fashion. If you compliment the moon when the moon is in the sky at night and there are clouds covering the moon, compliment the moon, send compliments to the moon, sincere compliments, and the moon will reveal itself beyond the clouds. The clouds will depart and the moon will reveal itself just by you giving it compliments. So complimenting the moon is how you increase the moonlight, the power and strength of the moonlight, and to reveal the moon, which can be used for, and once the moon is revealed, it can be used for a number of other ailments, such as casting, conjurations, abilities, transformations, potions, elixirs, thoughts, prayers, all sorts of stuff that can be connected to the moon, presence. Energies, magnetism, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, compliment the moon and it will reveal itself. Just like any woman, if you give her a compliment, she will reveal herself and she'll come out of her shell a bit and show you more of herself. So the moon is a female energy. Moving on to the sun. The sun is a male energy. Also been connected to the god Ra. And like any male energy, the sun is a temper, has a strong temper. And 1 minute it can be happy, and next minute it can be, I wouldn't say sad, it can be angry. It never really gets sad, it gets angry or it gets happy. And when it experiences sadness, it does have a darker form to the sun. We don't want to see the sun get sad, because it will start to turn red. And that's the last thing that we want. But yeah, so the sun is a male energy. And it gets angry and it gets happy like any male has a temper to it. And the sun can be used in many other different forms as regards to the moon. I'll tell you some of them ways. It can be used as a compass. I don't know if you heard the legend in Greek mythology, the golden compass. Well, they was referring to the sun in that instance. The sun is the golden compass. It can be used as a compass to find anything you desire and anything that you want. All you have to simply do is talk to it. Ask the sun a question, and the sun will give you an answer, yes or no answer, in the form of light. Being light, when it gets brighter, that means yes, you're getting closer. It can mean yes, and you're getting closer to what you're looking for. When it gets darker, that can mean no, or you're getting further away from what you're looking for, or suddenly something evil has come, let you know that there's some sort of evil come around you. And when it gets brighter, it means that there's something good happening. It can also get brighter if you tell the sun a lie. If you lie to the sun, it will get brighter. Basically, if you just generally make the sun angry, offend the sun, which is basically by lying to it, you're offending it. So generally, if you offend the sun, it will get brighter. Basically, the opposite of the moon. You compliment the moon, it gets brighter. To make the sun get brighter, you have to offend it, which is the opposite of the moon. You offend the sun, and it's going to shine brighter, which then can be used for multiple techniques, such as keeping warm and getting rid of vampires and dark creatures and entities. So if you're in a spot where it's during summertime and you're out in the open and you've got a lot of dark forces around you, simply lie to the sun or offend the sun. Respectfully, that is, I'll tell you to do this. And the sun will shine brighter. The sun will shine brighter, therefore eliminating any dark entities and threats that are in the area around you for a limited amount of time. So yeah, those are some of the techniques of the sun and the moon. Now I wanted to talk about the stars. The stars. Using cosmology and astrology. And the reading of the times and seasons. The stars. Not as many of them as you think there are. Because some of the stars are actually ships. Some of them are ships, and they're coming and going from the earth and stationary for a long time. Some of them are ships that have been stationary for a long time, and they don't need to actually to land. They just get the energy from the sun. They're refueling from the sun's light. And they're stationary because they're probably some of them have advanced technology where they can enter the planet through teleportation, and they enter the planet through teleportation during the daytime, and at night time they'll go back onto their ship and stay there depending on how long their business is on the planet. But if you notice in the sky, at night time, when you're looking at the sky at night time and you're looking for stars, have you noticed how you only see a few stars at first, or you'll see a certain amount of stars and then suddenly more stars start appearing? Have you ever noticed that? You looked in that spot before and there weren't no star there, and suddenly a star appears there. That's because it's a ship hyperspacing and making its way to that spot, and it's just appeared there, and you're seeing it, thinking it was always there. You just never saw it, but it's just hyperspace there, and it's stationary. So yeah, the stars in the sky, not all of them are suns. Some of them are ships, very large ships. Some of them are even connected to each other. So when you see a few stars, they could be one ship. Like say you can see say 3 stars. They could be one ship, or you could see 7 stars near each other. They could form one ship. Sometimes it can even be 20 stars will form one ship. So yeah, the stars are not all planets. Now there's also something else I want to teach you about the stars. The stars can actually be people. Certain black members of the black race passed on in life and turned into a star. Or other members of other races that have the ability to turn into stars when they pass on, or turn into planets, basically. Which leads me on to the next thing I want to talk about. Some people, when they die, they actually have the chance, opportunity, depending on if they pass certain tests. They actually have the opportunity to become their own planet. They thought they'd become their own planet. So a lot of these nebulae that you see in space, nebulae, or nebulae, however you put it, they're not just mist and energies, but they are just different forms of compact energy together, of different forms. But these are planets in the making. That's what nebulae are. Not all of them. Some of them actually spirits of titans, of giant beings. The spirits and the ghosts of them traveling through space. And some of them are actual planets in the making. If you look at some of them, I don't know if you've seen some of them from pictures or telescopes, but they form like circular shapes. or roughly around that sort of size. Not all planets are round. That's the thing. Not all planets are round. It depends on where you go and what the atmosphere is like in certain parts of the galaxy. Some planets, they may take different shapes depending on the galaxy, the gravitational fields of the planet, in the cosmos. Depending on the energy, some planets may take different shapes. It just so happens that in our solar system, most of the planets take a circular shape. Because that's how the energy is structured in this universe. So you may go to other universes and the planets may be a different shape. So yeah, some of the planets you see are actually they were actually once people, and they try to show you this in the game Mario Odyssey. I don't know if you played. Is it Mario Odyssey? Mario Galaxy, that's it. They try to show you this in Mario Galaxy. They try to show you this when you feed the little star people space bits, and they burst off into the sky and shoot it and turn into a planet. They try to show you in loads of different things. So yeah, some people actually turn into planets, and when they turn into that planet, they become the god of that planet, and they control how the planet works, how it moves, the will of the planet, everything within, and create everything within it. But some planets are free. They're what I call free planets, where they're created by a being, but individual gods, because there's all different types of gods. There's planets that are gods, there's people that are gods, there's animals that are gods, there's elements that are gods. There's all different types of gods. But some of the people that are gods, the creator ones, they can go to some of these free planets and start creating from within the planet using the power of their mind and thought. And one element, whether it be water or fire or something, they can use it to create. But yeah, so the planets are nebulae, formed from nebulae. This is why if you look at certain pictures of nebulae, you see that they take circular shapes. And the ones that don't take circular shapes are usually ones that are spirits, the spirits of giant spirits or giant souls of very large beings that lived on other planets in the neighbouring areas. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that quickly. I think that's what I wanted to talk about for now. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, this session. I'm your host, the intellectual Ahmenu Sage. You've been listening to the Nubian Kingz. Thank you for listening, and good night. Oh, hello, hi, welcome to the Ahmenu Sage Nubian Kingz podcast. And I'm your host, and I'm going to be guiding you through this discussion. Well, it's more of a lecture because I'm going to be teaching different subjects, and some of the stuff you may know already. Fair enough, if you know that already, that's great. But you can still listen just to recap and just to point out some of the stuff that you thought was true. Hearing it from somebody else may give you clarity. But yeah, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is elements. Now, someone was asking me to do a video on this a long time ago, after I explained to them about the elements, and they was really pleased with what I said and found it very intuitive and informational, and learnt some new stuff that they didn't know before. So I want to talk about the elements. Some people know the elements to just be the basic elements like earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, or thunder, whatever you want to call it, really lightning. But there are far more. Obviously, there's loads of elements. If you look at an elemental chart, there's loads of different individual elements. But I'm going to be talking about the main elements. The main elements, the most powerful ones that affect the environment. And I'm going to be talking about elements on both sides, because when it comes to elements, there's two different categories. There's three actually. Three different categories. Sorry, my mistake. There's three different categories. There's the ones that are set by the All-Father. The elements that are beyond the chart. They're not even on the chart. They're so powerful that they genuinely don't exist on any chart. And we'll start off with these elements. We'll start off with the beginning element, the first element. I call this the God element, and it is the element of nothing. Nothing is an element, because without nothing, you can't have something without nothing. So nothing and something are elements. I class them as God elements, because they're elements that, like something, nothing and everything. Something, everything. Something and everything are the same thing, but nothing and everything are elements. And the reason why I class them as God elements is because nothing is... It's hard to explain it. It's like... Some people will say that God, you can't see God, but you can't see nothing from God. You can't see God, but you know He's something. He's there. He's everything. When you try to look for Him, you can't see nothing. So that's what makes nothing, just due to the fact of that, it addresses to God, that nothing is a God element. And that everything and something is a God element. Because everything has every element in it. So everything will be the most powerful element. And altogether there are 14 main elements. And six of them are good elements, and 6 of them are bad elements, evil elements. Because so above, so below, you can't have the good without the bad. So just like there are good elements, there are also evil elements. But I'm going to start with the good elements, and some of these you may know already. Now the first element I'm going to start off with is wind. As you know, that is an element, the wind. It's what we breathe in the wind blows stuff. Wind is air. and energy moving through the atmosphere. Wind is an element. The next one is fire. Number 2, fire. Earth, water, and lightning. That's 5 elements. Earth, wind, water, fire, and lightning. Earth, wind, water, fire, and lightning. That's 5 elements. Sorry about that. Got caught off guard a little bit. Yeah, earth, wind, fire, water, and lightning is 5 elements. Now the hidden element among those elements is love. Love is a hidden element. Hold on a second, did I mention lightning? Earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, love, yeah. So the 6th element, hidden element of the good, out of the 6 good elements is love. So altogether there are 6 main good elements: earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, and love. Those consist of the 6 good main elements, which are also gods. There are also gods behind those elements. What you got to understand is each element is a god. There's a god that masters that element, that issues and is in charge of that element and how it's distributed. However, the element of opposite to nothing, which is everything, the God elements, can control all of those elements. They can manipulate all of those elements, and if they can't, I'm pretty sure that the everything element and all elements can manipulate all of them, and maybe nothing can manipulate the evil elements. But I'm going to get into the evil elements as well. As you know, so above, so below. There's opposite effect to everything that's out there. So just like you have the main elements, earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, love, you have the opposite elements and the opposite gods that control them. Or should I say demons, or the similar things that control those elements. And the evil elements are envy, jealousy, hate, greed, lust, and the 6th element that is added to the evil elements is time. Time is an element. Now I'll tell you how time is an element. Because if you, I don't know if you're familiar with magic, I could use this as a type of explanation, but I have to explain it in another way as well, just for people that are not familiar with magic. If you cast a spell or you make a potion, you'll find that sometimes you have to use things at a certain time. They'll say, put this in the potion 3 minutes later, or wait until a day, and then wait until 24 hours, and then light this candle. Or don't cast a spell till after midnight. Or don't cast a spell till sunrise in the morning, lunchtime. The reason why they say that, because time is an element. It is an element. And it is mainly known to be an evil element, because most things decay over time. Time usually destroys most things that are subjected to it. So time will generally destroy everything that's subjected to it eventually. Will wither away within time. It goes by the law of time. But there are some objects and some materials that have certain elements are excluded from the law of time and therefore not affected by it. Also, let me give you another explanation why time is an element. This one's going to be a bit difficult, man. There's that spell one, potion one. I thought that I explained it pretty good, but just in case people still don't understand. Time is an element because if you look at the time and the seasons when things change. If you go to winter time, it's cold. If you go to summertime, it's hot. Autumn time, the leaves fall. In the daytime, it gets warmer. In the daytime, the sun rises. In the nighttime, the sun sets. Time actually manipulates most elements as well. It's a very powerful element, even though it is a dark element. I shouldn't say evil, I should use the word dark. Some of the dark elements are not really evil, but they just have evil effects like time. But the rest of them are evil, are mainly evil. And time is the hidden element time and the hidden element love. They are both evil and good. They can both have evil and good effects. The hidden elements of time and love. So once again, I'm going to say the six dark elements: envy, jealousy, hate, greed, lust, and time. Those are the dark elements. Now the element above that one, just like I did the element of nothing, being the first element. The other element that's above time is everything. Everything, something, which is an element. So those are the 14 elements that I wanted to teach people about. Just to recap quickly, you have nothing, which is the element of nothing. You have earth, wind, fire, water, lightning, love. For the light elements. Then for the dark elements, you have jealousy, envy, greed, hate, lust, and time. Then for the final God element, you have everything and something. So yeah, those are the 14 elements. And if you're very clever, you can actually mix these elements up to create more elements. Some could even use it for magic if they wanted to explore magic. They could use it for magic purposes. But generally you can use these elements in all different kinds of ways. But the dark elements, they do have some negative effects. So be careful with the dark elements. And be careful of any elements, not just the dark elements. Even the light elements have devastating effects if they're used in the wrong way. All the elements have effects that can make a lot of change, but they are also the creating force behind a lot of creations that exist within our planet today, are done through these elements and using the power of the mind and suggestion and manifestation. Are used to help create certain forces that exist today, whether it be people or animals. And generally a good element for creating would be water, time, and earth, and fire. And when it's all done, use a bit of wind. So the elements are used for creating. But I'm going to move on now. So we'll discuss elements. I like to discuss poisons. Now, you may or may not be feeling sick lately. I know a lot of people have been feeling sick lately, and they seem to be just blaming it on COVID and Corona and Omicron and all this crap. All that is a load of bull. It's not just these flus and viruses that are making people sick. Now, I don't know if you watched one of my earlier videos or listened to the sapphire tablets that I made, AudioBook. I talked about invisible enemies and unseen forces that are attacking our people at the moment, demonic evil forces that are attacking people at the moment. And some alien as well. But you may find that you're feeling sick lately and you haven't really gone out or gone anywhere or had anyone really around you, so you're a bit confused as to why you're feeling sick. I can officially tell you that some of you, the reason why you're sick is because you're being poisoned. You're being poisoned within your own home. Now, I'll tell you some of the ways you could be getting poisoned. Some of you are being poisoned by gas, carbon monoxide, fumes in your own homes. Basically, your home has been turned into a gas chamber, and you could be getting gas slowly. So if you had recently had people come over and say they need to check your gas, or they need to do something to do with your kitchen or your boiler or something like that, you might have had recently over the past, say, 6 months. You may have had this sort of experience of someone wanting to come and sort something like that. Most of them, when they came, they readjusted your boiler and your gas and left it leaking monoxide. So if you're experiencing headaches, you're getting lots of headaches, and you're getting sick, it could be monoxide fumes. So you need to call the governmental gas people for your country or for wherever you are to get them to check that you're not leaking no monoxide. So I suggest you try that first. And if they say that that's okay, when they do the check, then it's okay. It's important that you don't call your housing gas people. to check. You need to call an outside individual person. There are companies in different countries where they have a service that will check your gas to make sure it's not leaking. If you report a leak, they have to check it. So make sure you don't call the housing gas people, because these are the people that can probably gassing you. If it is gas, carbon monoxide fumes, that's making you sick. Yeah, that's one thing that could be poisoning you. The next is, there are unseen, invisible forces that are poisoning people. A lot of you have these people in your home, these demons in your home. And when I say demons, I don't just mean some invisible spook, monster with a pitchfork or horns in their head you can't see somewhere trying to torment you. These are everyday people that you see in your day to day. They could be your local food store man, off license man, cab driver, kebab shop man, chip shop man, shopping centre employee, petrol station man, or the postman, or the delivery driver. These are people that you would assume has two fingers pointing down, up and down, as regular people, but they're not regular people. They're actually demons. And they can turn invisible, and they can come into your home. Some of them are vampires. Let's be realistic about it, man. We get the truth out there, man. Cut the ball. Some of them are vampires. Some of them are jinn. Some of them are demons. Some of them are ghosts. Some of them are spirits. Either way, if you're still listening, there's a chance you could be getting poisoned. And you're feeling sick and you don't know what it is. So if it isn't the first one that I said to you about the carbon monoxide, there's a high chance that when you're cooking your food, these vampires and demons, whatever, are putting poison in your food. Every time you make a drink, they're putting poison in it. If you've been drinking your drinks, maybe a cup of tea or coffee, it's been tasting weird lately. Or you may even be a smoker, and you made a roll-up. And your roll-up tastes a bit funny. It tastes like there's a chemical in it, something that is unfamiliar to you that you don't recognize the taste of it. Your roll-ups may be tasting funny, or sometimes they taste so poisoned you can't really breathe them in, to the point you're coughing. You're finding you're choking a lot when you're smoking, coughing your guts out. That's because you're being poisoned. You're being poisoned. You're being poisoned by these unseen forces around you. Now, what I suggest you do, if you are being poisoned slowly, is do things like put the line of salt at the door, across the doors, to block them from coming through, but they can, however, come through the wall. So you have to be careful, because there are ways for them to still get in, even with the salt come. It's hard to block them out unless you put it around every corner and aspect of the room. But what another way is you can buy lots of mineral water. Mineral water, I recommend you drink mineral water. I could say tap water, but I believe the tap water is poisoned already. So buy lots of mineral water and drink lots of mineral water. At least in a day, you should have at least 1 or 2 bottles of mineral water a day. At least 1 or 2 a day. But if you can't get 2, at least 1 bottle, big bottle of mineral water a day. Done. And you generally want to drink that. I'd say about About 9, 10 o'clock. 9, 10 o'clock. And also drinking hot garlic, which actually cleans out the blood, is very good for you as well. So drink a lot of hot garlic, and that'll clean out the blood. Drinking hot garlic and lots of mineral water is going to keep the poison out of your system and make it affect you less. Another way that you may not believe, for some of you, I know you don't believe in God, but trust me, you're missing out, is you can pray so that no weapon formed against you can prosper. That's all you got to do, is pray that no weapon formed against you can prosper. And it doesn't matter how much they poison you, it won't destroy you. It will make you sick, but it won't destroy you. So yeah, be very careful, because a lot of people are being poisoned at the moment by unseen forces. And some of them believe they have COVID. When they go to hospital, the hospital will lie to them and tell them, yeah, they got COVID, when they're actually being poisoned. So if you're feeling sick, check and make sure that it's not poison. And a lot of you that smoke, there could be poison in your smoke. So if your smoke is tasting a bit funny and you're coughing a lot lately, there's a high chance it's been poisoned. And like I said, they don't have to come physically into your presence to do this. They could do it from unseen parts of your flat, parallel place, but they can't be seen. So be careful. So yeah, so I did want to cover something else, but I don't think there's enough time. But yeah, so watch out for poisoning, because this is a really big issue, and I've been experiencing this a lot lately myself. That's why I'm in the process of currently trying to quit smoking. I don't smoke weed anymore, and I gave up weed a long time ago, and I'm about to give up tobacco, which is the last addiction that I have. After that, the only drugs I'll take will be tea and coffee. So yeah, be careful of poisoning. A lot of people are being poisoned at the moment. Watch who you take food from and who gives you food and stuff like that. Be very wary of these things and observative of what you take into your body. And make sure you drink lots of water and garlic water as well. But yeah, so this is all I wanted to talk about. It's a little short video on the elements, and a little warning for everyone. I hope you found this video informative and you learned something new. I'm your host, the intellectual Ahmenu Sage. This is the Nubian Kingz. Until next time, farewell. Hello, welcome. You're listening to Nubian Kingz. I am Ahmenu Sage, intellectual host, and this is part 2 of the tablets that you're listening to. And I'm going to talk briefly on a few subjects to just shed some light on some certain things and give my perspective and knowledge on the subjects. And the first one is divination. Now, divination is an ancient term. Some know it to be used by witches, used by wizards, used by people that just generally want to see the future or learn more about the subjects around them. It's not just witches or wizards that will use these techniques of divination. Divination has been used by loads of different cultures: the Egyptians, the Romans, the Greeks, the Aztecs, the Chinese, the Japanese, for thousands and thousands of years. So what is divination, you ask? Divination is the usage and technique of finding information or learning about the future of things to come and stuff that's going to happen, or any general information about a subject or a technique through the technique of either reading something or touching something. That is divination. Learning about the future or gaining information by reading something or touching something. Or even thinking about something in some cases, rare cases. Now, I'm not going to tell you all the techniques of divination, but I do want to teach you a technique of how to use divination in case you need to use this in future, which you'll find that I had these skills to keep by your side in times of confusion and when you just simply need answers to certain things. And through divination, you can generally find the answer to most, if not most, all subjects and answers that you're looking for. You can find through divination. They may not always be 100% accurate, but they're going to be very close. And you can use it for a lot of things. You can even use it to find out what God has in store. If you want to know, you can even use it as a term to communicate with God through divination. So it goes deeper than that. You can even communicate through God through it. You can ask God a question and then use divination to find out the answer to the question that you ask God. So divination can be used in many different ways. Divination can even be used by the elements around you, whether it's the sun or the moon or the wind or the rain or the weather. You can use divination in that terms as well. You can ask the sun a question, and whether it gets brighter or dimmer is the divination answer to your question, yes or no. So some basic questions you can ask elements through divination. That's a technique or form of divination. But I'm going to tell you one technique. One technique is one you may be familiar with. If some of you are very skillful, you'll be familiar with this technique. And so what I'm going to teach you today is basic and very easy and simple to learn technique of divination, of how to find out the future or find any general information you want about something or communicate with something. Is pages and scrolling. Basically, through opening a page, it is believed, and it is also fact, that if you open up a page, any page on any book, it doesn't matter what book it is, what page you open up on, because the universe will guide you to open up the right page to give you the answers that you're seeking. So say like I want to find out whether there's going to be a problem tomorrow. And I want to find out the answer to that. And the quickest way form of divination to find out the answer to that would be to get a book. Any book, it could be a magazine, it could be a magazine, it could be a pamphlet. If you reach certain levels, it could be a newspaper. And just don't look at the paper, pause for a little while, ask the question that you're looking for, and to seek the answer, open up the book or whatever you're reading to any page. And what I want you to do is take your finger and just suddenly point right, doesn't matter how long you take before you look at the page, point to a certain part of the page, any part of the page. But when you point, don't take your hand off, and read from that point on. And generally the next few letters few words, sentences, even the same very sentence or maybe two sentences down, it's going to have the answer to what you're looking at, and it's going to be relevant to what you want to know. So that is one form of divination, and it's been used by many people and many famous alchemists and great scholars and scribes and all sorts of people. Even the great so-called late, I would say late, but there's rumors that he's an immortal, Dr. John Dee. He used scribing and divination to find out information to do with stuff. So a lot of great people have used divination, and it's been about for a very long time. So divination is one way you can find out this information. So yeah, that's the one thing I want to teach you about divination and how to use it. And don't get mistaken, it's because it's called divination. It's not no devil nation. It's just a very old technique to find out truths and information about stuff. So yeah, if you learned what I said, you heard what I said, and you understood what I said, you can use that technique whenever you want, however you want, on whatever you want, to find out answers and information, the questions you seek. Now the next thing I wanted to talk about is, what was it now? My mind's gone blank. Don't go blank on me right now. Let's take a little puff of my smoke. Yeah, so that was it. The next one I wanted to talk about is a rather unusual one that almost never gets discussed, but is 100% true nevertheless. And that is backslang. People talking backwards, talking the opposite, saying something and meaning the opposite of what they mean, of what they're saying. And some people just talking playing backwards, completely backwards. Now, there are some people, I don't know if you've noticed, you may have said something to someone or asked someone to do something and they've done the opposite of what you asked them. Or you may have you may have asked someone, you may have spoken to someone and they told them to tell somebody something, and they told them the opposite of what you told them to tell them. It's not because they're stupid, it's miscommunication, and hidden miscommunication. Because there are in fact a race of people out there that speak backwards. You can tell them to go left and they'll go right, because left is right to them. You can tell them you love them, and all they can hear is that you hate them. And I'm not just talking about females and women. Some people have this notion that women speak backwards. Yeah, they do. But it's not all women. It's a majority of women that speak backwards, mean the opposite of what they mean. But there are men and males that they speak backwards. You can, if you listen carefully to some of your conversations that people are having around you, listen carefully to what they're saying. You get a lot of women, some people, some guys that have girlfriends or have girls that they're seeing, women that they're seeing, and they'll be sitting there, you'll be sitting there talking to their friend, and you'll be there bored as hell listening to them. So you're like, oh, I'm going to jump on the computer or do something else just to escape this boring conversation. If you just stay there and listen to their so-called boring conversations, which is far from boring if you knew the truth. These women, they'll be saying she did this and she did that, and she wasn't wearing any clothes, you know. And she was naked, yeah. And she did this and she did. I don't like her no more. I like her. Yeah, she was looking nice, you know, when I saw her. They've used things like she for he. They're talking about a guy. They're talking about guys right in front of your face. And using the word she. So you think they're talking about a woman? But that's just the fucking candles on the cake. That's just the candles on the cake, man. This shit goes deeper than that, man. This shit goes deeper than that. There are people out there they speak backwards. They don't only just speak backwards, they do everything backwards. Loads of people have been showing you this. If you look at Crisscross back in the day, they used to have their jeans back to front and their pockets inside out. And you think they started that fashion? They didn't start that fashion. Loads of people was wearing their jeans back to front and their pockets inside out. It just came from a neighborhood where people wore their clothes like that. Now you've got people calling men, women, men, girl, boy, girl. I don't know if dimensions have been crossed. And this other world is the opposite to the one we came from before. But they are definitely speaking backwards. So, that is one to look out for, because as far as I knew, everyone spoke one way when I was younger. Or maybe they spoke that way but they was just trying to conceal it. Or maybe that's the way people were supposed to speak and they just taught everyone the fake way of speaking just to separate the two people. Who knows? But people are definitely speaking backwards, and it's starting to affect people. Some people are not. Most people are not talking about this. That speak forward. They're not actually speaking about these people speaking backwards, or their experiences with people speaking backwards. There's a lot of people are afraid at the moment to say the truth, to speak what's on their mind openly. Well, I'm not, and I'm going to be one of the first to just say truthfully what I think, because I support my people, innit? You know what I mean? And when I say my people, I don't just mean black people. I mean all sorts of people that are good people that believe in God. You know what I mean? That are good people. I support those people, innit? People that believe in the Most High, the Creator, the All-Father. So, with that said, I'm going to tell you the truth. And this is one truth, people are speaking backwards. And if you don't believe me, next time you're around certain people, whether it's your girlfriend or your brethren, especially your friends, you got to be careful of them, because some of these so-called friends, which are not actually friends at all, they're just infiltrators and enemies sent to infiltrate you. They'll speak backwards around you. They'll mainly speak backwards around you, but there's a very clever, subtle way of detecting that they're speaking backwards and what it is they're actually really intentionally saying. You should just listen. Listen to what they're saying, and they're going to say one thing that's not going to make sense forward. If you listen to it carefully, it don't really make sense forward. When you take it to the opposite, it makes more sense. It sounds like it makes more sense, and you'll realize these people are speaking backwards. So yeah, look out for people speaking backwards, because a lot of people are doing that, and some of them are devils. And so yeah, you got to be careful, man. Watch out for these people speaking backwards. There's a lot of them as well. A lot of them. They're equal amount to us. So yeah, these people are speaking backwards, man. It's time to expose them, wake up the nation, man. Some people are sleeping, man. But yeah, and the next thing I wanted to talk about is the TV. Now, some people know TV to be telepathic. Some people know TV to be just informational, entertaining. But TV is more than that. It's more than informational. It's more than entertaining. It's more than just telepathic. It's actually a gateway. It's a gateway between different places, between different dimensions, in hell and in other dimensions parallel to that. And it actually looks into different worlds and dimensions. It's basically interdimensional television unit, an interdimensional television unit that looks into different dimensions and different worlds and shows you stuff from those different worlds. And if you look at the TV carefully, it's riddled with demons and dark creatures, putting on shows and trying to entertain you. And a lot of it could be anything. It could be in just files. I know for a fact that on certain platforms, social media platforms, and stuff like that, but ones you wouldn't be surprised, are riddled with demons. And a lot of the software, when you watch it, when you're watching it, demons are in the video and they transfer into your apartment. So you have to be careful. Also, I'd like to discuss that and mention the fact that almost all TV that you watch is live. Almost all TV that you watch is live. Hello, I know you can hear me. Almost all TV that you watch is live. When you watch TV, it's live. You're watching a live footage of somebody talking. And when you look at them, they can see you. Same way that you watch them on the telly, they're watching you back. They can see you, they can hear you, they can even smell you. They can even smell you. So they can see you, hear you, and smell you. And if they want, they could just come through and touch you. This is why when you watch TV, you always wondered how they seem to be looking like they're looking at you. They say it's because they're looking directly at the camera lens. That's bull. That's bull. Because how can I stand to the far right of the room and look at the TV, and the TV looks like it's looking at me from that angle? If I'm directly in front of the television and the person's looking at me, then and it looks like they're looking at me, then that's understandable. But if I'm at an angle facing the telly from a certain angle, there's no way that at that angle their eyes can look at me from that angle. It doesn't matter where you look. Even if you're at the far right of it, if you're angled at the far right or the far left of a room, and from that room you can see the TV, and that person's looking at you from there, they're actually looking at you from the TV. It doesn't make logical sense that they can see you and look at you from that angle there. And if you even look at them, if you even look carefully, the head is even turned to you. The head is even turned to you a little bit. The head is even turned to you. If you look closely, the head is turned to face you. The head is turned to face you. You can look at it from an angle when the head is turned to face you. The head is turned to face you if you look from an angle. So, next time if you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Say something to the TV. If you see someone on the TV, whether it's a news reporter
or someone doing a show, keep on saying something funny. Let's see if you can make them laugh. Say something that's so funny that you know they're gonna have to laugh or smile at least if they don't laugh. And see if they don't smile or suddenly start laughing. That's how you can tell that it's live. All the films that you watch, these actors have to act. They're slaves. They have to act over the film over and over again for you. Each TV that you get has demons in the TV network that come through and act out the show. Every show and film that you watch, when you've seen it before, is live. And it's being acted out for you there and then. And it's been acted out over and over again. And they're acting out the shows over and over and over and over and over again. Because it's a known fact that demons like to put on shows and performances. Vampires have been doing this for the longest time, putting on shows and performances. This is why Hollywood is riddled with vampires. Hollywood is riddled with vampires. None of these actors, they never die. They're the same actors that have been going around, and some of these musicians as well, music artists, are the same actors and music artists that have been going round and round since the beginning of time, putting on performances for people for the longest time. And when they get too old to the point that they should die, they disappear for a little while, go underground, or disappear for a little while. And then when a new generation is born, that doesn't remember them anymore, they come back again. And if they can't wait, if they can't wait to come back as that person, that same person again, wait till the generations are dead to come back as that person again. They just change into a new person, a new form. They change into a new form as a new person. They change into a new form as a new person. And start performing for you again as a new person. I'll give you an example. Whitney Houston and Rihanna. Whitney Houston and Rihanna. I believe that Rihanna is Whitney Houston. And you might think that call me crazy for saying this. But I honestly believe Rihanna is Whitney Houston. And that when Whitney Houston's career started dying, she turned into Rihanna and came on the scene again. Because if you look at Rihanna, look at her performance when she first came on the scene. She had no witness to her. You know, like some of these music artists, when they first do their first song, they got a certain look about them. They look like they look like they don't they look like they're fresh, like they're wet behind the ears, innit? If you notice Rihanna, she didn't look wet behind the ears when she first come on the scene. She had that glare in her eye, that look in her eye, like she's done this before. She's very confident, and she just knew how to act. And if you look at Rihanna's first tune, that tune she did in the club at a party. If you notice, the first tune she done, she's at a party. She's at a party and she's I don't know if she's wearing a dress or what she's wearing, but she's at a party. And she's got that sort of flow to her, like she's trying to bring a party vibe sort of tune. She came with that sort of tune to show people that she's fun. She's fun and she likes to go to parties, and she's coming from that perspective. And if you look at Whitney Houston done the same thing when she first come out. What did she make? I want to dance. I want to dance with somebody. When she did I want to dance with somebody. She made a tune that was like, that made her look fun. And that sort of party vibe tune. I want to dance with somebody. It was like a pop party tune. So it's the same similar type tune. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But I just have a theory that they're the same person. And then she changed it to her just to fire up her career. And I also have a gut feeling that Michael Jackson ain't dead. I don't know what it is. I got a feeling he's not dead and he's going to be reappearing some point soon as well. He'll appear some point again soon. I don't feel he's dead. I reckon he made it to immortality somehow. He must have, because he was seeking it with everything that he had. And there's no way with all that money that he couldn't find a way to become immortal. He's definitely coming back at some point, man. That's for certain. But yeah. So yeah. Just a little light discussion about the TV being live. Because the television is live, man. Check it out if you don't believe me. Speak to the TV next time and try and make the person on the telly laugh by cracking a joke and see if they don't laugh at it. Or even say change to the next scene. Change to the next scene. And watch the telly change to the next scene. So yeah, I hope you found this video informative. It's a little bit of light knowledge for you. I mean, I say light, but some it's not really light because nobody's really speaking about this. So it's deep. It's deep, man. It's knowledge that people know, but they're just not speaking about it for some reason. Because they're scared. But yeah, so I hope you found this video informative. I'm your host, the intellectual Ahmenu Sage. You've been listening to Nubian Kingz. Thank you, and good night.
Hello. Hi. And welcome to Nubian Kingz. I am your intellectual host, Ahmenu Sage. And without further ado, let's get started on this final chapter of the tablets. And we're going to be talking about demons. I know it's a touchy subject and a lot of people don't like discussing this sort of thing, but the knowledge that I have to give will empower you and protect you in some ways, so please listen to what I have to say. So, when I say demons, I mean vampires, spirits, ghosts, jinn, that sort of thing. So, the first thing that will give you power against them is that they don't like when you're not paying attention to them. I don't mean like listening to them. I mean, they don't like it when you are paying attention to them. With your eyes, with your ears, they like you to pay attention to them. With your mouth, they like you to pay attention to them. with your eyes, if you notice, they don't like you to pay attention to them. This is why you never see them. This is why they're always hiding from you. They're always invisible. They don't want to be seen. They want to do everything unseen. They don't like to be seen. And I mean this in every aspect. This is why if you see a ghost, it'll just disappear. And if you see most of these sort of beings, they generally disappear unless you've got them, they're back against the wall, which is what some of them will attack. And some will just disappear. But they don't like to be seen. So one way you can empower yourself and stop them from outmaneuvering you against you is by having your eyes on them. If you come across a demon, don't look directly into their eyes, but look at them. For some of them, they have the power to get certain attributes out of you, control through looking at them in the eye. So try not to make eye contact, but look at them, their body. And the reason why I say look at them is because they can't outmaneuver you when you're looking at them. Just by keeping your eyes on them, you're keeping them within a certain law that you have to follow, the same laws that you have to follow in terms of movement restriction. They're restricted, their movement is restricted when you look at them. They can only move at a certain pace when you look at them. The moment you take your eyes off them, these demonic forces, the moment you take your eyes off them, is when they start to cause trouble, problems. And some may even move fast, very fast, far faster than the eye can see. So when you look at them, you restrict their movement and their ability. They have to move under normal laws when you look at them, or when you're paying attention to whatever you're looking at that they're trying to disrupt, or if you're actually looking at them. If you keep your eye on them and don't take your eye off them, it restricts their movement. So yeah, keep your eye on them always. If you see one, don't take your eye off them until they're well out of distance. And what you'll find is if you look out your window, if you're in a quiet place somewhere and you see them walking past, the moment you take your eye off them, they're halfway up the road. You're thinking, how did you get so far up the road so quickly? And when you look at them, they're halfway up the road, and you're thinking, how did you get there so fast? And then when you take your eye off of them, they're even further down. And then they might even look back at you because they know that they're being slowed down, and they'll look in the direction that they think is coming from. Some will even know that it's you looking at them, and they look at you just to say, don't look at me. I'm trying to get to where I'm going to as quick as I can, and you're slowing me down by looking at me. So looking at them restricts their movement and their ability. The next way is the thing I'm going to tell you. Is love. Love. Sorry, one sec. Bear with me a sec. Love, yes, sorry, love. Love is a very lethal weapon that you can use against them. You can even project your love onto them, and that'll kill them slowly. But if they fall in love with you, say like a vampire falls in love with something, or a demon falls in love with something, they then begin to start dying slowly. This is why they try to kill anyone or anything that they fall in love with. If they can't get out of that love, they then try to kill the person or the thing that they love to make them stop loving them. So they don't die, they don't fall in love and die. Love kills them slowly. Any emotion kills them slowly if they show it for too long. This is why they will laugh, and then when your back's turned, they stop laughing. And when you turn around, they start smiling. As if to say they was laughing the whole time, or they was happy the whole time, but really they stopped showing emotion the moment your back was turned. Love will kill them slowly if you project it onto them. And to project it onto them, you need to think of a loving thought and look at them while you're thinking the loving thought in your head. And it will kill them slowly. And if you can make them love you and fall in love with you, which is an infiltration technique, they will then begin to die slowly. This is why in the Bible, God teaches us to love our enemies. There's a reason why God teaches us to love our enemies. Because love kills them. Love kills them. Love kills evil. If they fall in love, they start dying. If you project love into them, they start dying. Love kills them. This is why we're taught to love our enemies. Extra. Now, that's some esoteric knowledge for you that I know other people don't talk about, which is absolute facts. So yeah, love kills them. If they fall in love, they start dying, these vampires and demons. But love kills them. So be careful who you make fall in love with you. Because if they're a vampire, they're going to try and kill you for falling in love with you. Now, the next one is, so the last one I want to talk about was something that we all fall short of when it comes to these sort of dark forces, is that we tend to be afraid of them. We tend to fear them. When some of them in actual fact fear us just as much as we fear them. But fear is something that you have to conquer when you're around these dark forces, because you have to keep your fear at bay, your fear low, and show them that you're not afraid, and be brave, and confront them if you have to. If you have to confront them, don't be afraid to confront them. Make sure you've got the light with you, some sort of light with you, something holy, and scriptures or something ready to battle them with. But yeah, don't fear them, because they actually feed off your fear. They feed off it. It makes them stronger. They're only as strong as you are afraid of them. The more you're afraid of them, the stronger they are, the stronger they get. So don't show no fear, and don't scream, don't shout, just stay calm. Talk to them like you're not afraid, and then go step closer to them with a light in hand. Never in complete darkness if you can help it, but don't be afraid of them, because they're expecting you to be afraid. They're actually trying to scare you so they can feed off your energy, your fear. So don't show any fear. They tried to show you this in Monsters Inc. I don't know if you remember Monsters Inc., that cartoon animated film. And there's the monsters, so they try to scare people in order to harness energy, which gives them their energy for their lights and electricity and everything that they see. They harness energy, so they try to show you in that. And if you look closely, what else did they show you? That when the little girl, she wasn't afraid of the monster, and when the monster tried to scare her, she actually walked towards the monster, and it was the monster that was scared. And she actually put fear into the monster by not being afraid. by not being afraid and stepping towards the monster. And I personally had this experience recently where a demon entered my home dressed as an electrician, no, a gas man, sorry. He tried to show me his teeth and tried to act all scary when he came in. And I just said to him, "What are you staring at? Are you looking for the gas meter? The gas meter's in the kitchen." I was like, "Can you please hurry up? I haven't got all day, man. I've got things I need to do, so please do what you're doing quickly." And he looked at me and he saw that I weren't afraid. And because I was pushy, and you could see I didn't have no fear, he actually started looking afraid. He pulled a face like he was afraid. His face changed to the face of fear. And then he started doing the job that he had been called to come to do. And initially, I could tell that he was going to destroy me. If I showed any fear, he would have tried to destroy me, but I showed no fear. So he was forced to do the job that he had to do. Instead of doing what his primary mission was to destroy me. Because I showed no fear, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do anything to me. But yeah, so fear. Try not to show no fear to these forces. They were always going to try to get you afraid. If you notice, yeah, why do you think everything that you see is about fear on the telly? Some sort of fear this or fear that. They keep on trying to focus people to be afraid. Because they're harnessing the energy of fear out of everybody. That's creating energy that we use daily. Because fear creates an electrical current. It creates fear is used to create electrical current. And if you don't believe me that fear can create electricity, they try to show you this in Star Wars. I don't know if you remember in Star Wars when the Emperor is having has a fight with with Windu, Master Windu. Samuel Jackson plays it. And just before the Emperor attacks Samuel Jackson hasn't cornered. And he's afraid. He starts getting afraid. And as he starts getting afraid, what does he do? He then attacks him with electricity. So he used the fear that he had, converted it into electricity, and then attacked him with it. With his own fear. So that is another sign they try to show you in Star Wars, that fear generates electricity. This is why this is the main produce in this country is electricity. This country produces so much electricity, it's unbelievable. There's electricity running through everything. This is why the soles of your trainers and your shoes are made of rubber. Because it's all producing electricity, energy, which is being used for something. When I get more information, I'll let you know what it's being used for. It's being used for something, it's energy. And it's all energy generated out of fear. So that the fear gets put back into the atmosphere, we absorb it and we get afraid. We give it off when we're afraid. Right now, there's a lot of fear energy. On this planet. A lot of fear energy going around. And the only way you can protect yourself is by not being afraid. They're programming us with fear. They're seeping fear into our blood. They're seeping fear into our DNA through the food that we eat. Because the food that we eat, the animals are scared. So we eat their fear. We eat fear. Everything we do is surrounded by fear, which generates electricity. So yeah, try not to be afraid, my people, and have courage and have strength. And that is another way that you can conquer. some of these evil forces that are trying to make you afraid. Just show no fear. Show no fear. Project your love on them, make them fall in love with you, project your love on them, and keep them within your eye. Keep them in your eye. Practice them three things. Don't let them out your sight. Project your love on them and show no fear. Start practicing them three things, techniques, and increasing them, the powers beyond them. And you enhance your power and strength dramatically. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed these tablets. I'm your host, the intellectual Ahmenu Sage. This is Nubian Kingz. I hope you find this audiobook very intuitive and informative. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, I have music and other tutorials to do with music tutorials, producer programs on FL Studio, and even instrumental beats and other things you'll find on this channel. So yeah, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't forget to share and comment. You've been listening to the tablets. Thank you.